This meeting is being live streamed. Hello, YouTube folks. Meet
Us.
Tim Koth. Tim Koth. Don't actually know how to pronounce his last name. I think it's Koth.
Hope so, because that's how I've been saying it.
Let's see if Jeff spelled it out. Nope. Well, I'm gonna keep saying Koth until I get
Until we
corrected.
hear otherwise.
Yeah. All right, are we good to roll?
We is.
Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 113 of the Warrior House podcast. Can you tell what I'm excited to talk about, Sangster? And I can tell what you're also excited to talk about for a second here before we get into some Wayne State action.
I,
Your
I
guy is
actually I
back.
actually can't tell. I have no idea what this could possibly be about.
Yeah, who knows what the title of this episode is going to be? I wonder if it's going to be a first time ever title. It just might be.
I don't think we've repeated a single title yet, and that's pretty impressive going into 113 different episodes.
It's impressive. But big news, couple minutes before we hit record. Good news for the Lions. This offensive line has been a little rough. Boy, do they get some help, though. They get the guy who decided that fishing season was done and he wanted to go back to football. So Frank Ragnow back for the Lions. How you feel about that?
I'm very excited. He was part of my team name for fantasy football this year, and my team's not doing so hot either, so maybe a little bit of that energy will rub off on rub off on us.
That'd be nice. So before we get to my topic, Sangster, we're going to get through a couple of sports first. We're going to talk about some basketball, get out to the court. And let's start out with this Wayne State women's basketball team. So back on Wednesday, November 19th, they were at the Wayne State Fieldhouse taking on Hillsdale. And Wayne State won this one by a final score of 79 to 59. You got to head over for this one for a couple of minutes, Sangster, before the volleyball home
Yep.
GLIAC match. But in this one, a couple of big notes here. Taylor Thompson goes off for 33 points. Then McKenna Ferguson, Carrington Gordon, and Gabby Luchka all tallied 10 points in this one. Definitely not an amazing day from 3 point land, but we did get a chance, spoiler alert, to talk to Coach Carrie Lohr after the volleyball match, and she was kind of explaining that, Taylor Thompson, of course, as I mentioned, went out for 33 in this one, that she was very, very active in the paint and trying to get to the paint, and not necessarily just pull up jumpers or fadeaway jumpers or anything like that. Said, like, we're going to bump and bruise and get points. And that seems to be exactly what she did. Good to see that there. And then one last stat I want to throw out here is free throw line, 17 for 24. Definitely an improvement here, about 70% there. But, you know, uh, those who've listened to us for a couple of seasons and at least this season for a couple of times we talked about basketball, I love to talk about turnovers. And I especially love to talk about turnovers when we only had 8 of them, because that's not always the case. Sometimes it's a lot higher than that. So, you see that final score of 79-59, 8 turnovers, pretty good stuff at the free throw line. Not the most amazing day at the 3 point line, but all stats that I enjoy kind of talking about here lead to a 20-point win for this Wayne State women's basketball team.
Yeah, and it was something like a 20-point game when I left at halftime for the what we'll talk about later, the GLIAC quarterfinal match against Michigan Tech. Uh, Overall, it was a good day for Wayne State. It was a win. Numbers could have been better. About the free throw percentage at home, I think you'd like to see that touch at a minimum into the 80s, but in this game in particular, it didn't really impact Wayne State much. Uh, Also, you're talking about Taylor Thompson earlier. She did get GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week before this upcoming game that we're going to talk about. She did have a Defensive Player of the Week last year as well. So that'd be an interesting stat to look up. How many Wayne State players have had both an offensive and a defensive player of the week in the conference?
Yeah, definitely an interesting one there. Good catch on that because, yeah, I mean, offensively, she just had a fantastic game in that one. Good enough, like you said, would be able to get all conference honors there. So good stuff for Taylor Thompson. And then moving along, actually just earlier today, so at time of recording, it is, well, we probably already gave it away, but November 26th, about 5 o'clock. So just about an hour ago, the Wayne State women's basketball team wrapped up a very funky timed basketball game happening at 2 p.m. up at Northwood. Might I add that Northwood, figure out your stream. They did end up getting it figured out, but I was trying to watch it on Flow Sports and it was having technical issues, which means that they probably forgot to turn the camera on. But Northwood ends up winning this one, unfortunately, by a final score of 70 to 58. A couple of scoring numbers here for Wayne State. McKenna Ferguson leads the way with 16, and then Gabby Luchka, JC Tubergen, and Carrington Gordon all got 10 points as well. So, uh, if one thing can be said about this team so far, it's a balanced scoring attack. And like the names aren't exactly the same as like, what I talked about in that first game against Hillsdale. I mean, Taylor Thompson was not a big time scorer in this one, but JC Tubergen and uh well, I guess McKenna for the other three are kind of always in the mix a little bit there, but there's not generally like one big time scorer in that. Like they spread the ball around really well. And that's great to see. I mean, balanced scoring attack is always very impressive, be it from the 3 point line, from driving it, or just getting into the paint, whatever it happens. Seems like that's something that this Wayne State women's basketball team is able to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of a transition from last year. You were seeing a lot of buckets going to Shea Tripp, and right now it doesn't seem like there's that like kind of X factor on the team that's going to get the ball almost uh, every trip to the basket. Do they need that? Maybe not necessarily the way they spread the ball around. It seems to be going well for them right now, but uh, in some games it has led to where they haven't had enough offensive output, and it showed in this game. Had 17 turnovers, not great. 5 for 23 from 3 pointers, not great. That hopefully that doesn't become a trend, but it's starting to look that way at least these past 2 games. Also free throws, kind of like the last game where it didn't really matter for Wayne State in the positive. It didn't really matter for Wayne State, but in the negative, that hey, you could have gotten some points there. 75% from the line, though, all right when you're away, but you kind of would have liked to see it a little bit better.
Yeah, and I went back and looked at Northwood women's basketball schedule so far, and they've played a pretty tough schedule, and they played like Ferris State. They played them very closely. I think that was like an 88-84 win for Ferris State, if I remember correctly. And what's
Mhm.
frustrating about this one is looking at the stats, Northwood did not have a great game. I mean, they had an okay game, like 34.5% from three, 10 for 29. They made a lot more three-pointers than we did. They only got to the line 6 times in this one. They did a little bit better job protecting the ball here, but at the end of the day, statistically, Northwood did not have a great game. Wayne State just like Northwood had an okay game. Wayne State did not have a good game, and that's kind of the story here. So I mean, like an average, any other average game for Wayne State, we probably win in this one. It just happened to be off. We were kind of joking, like maybe the team's just ready for Thanksgiving. Maybe they want to get home, hang out with the family, whatever. Understandable, but definitely a frustrating one here because this felt like a game this team could have won, especially when as we were talking with Carrie Lohr as well, Coach Lohr. Texas Women's University, Ashland, like we were able to win one of those games, but take the other one about as far as they wanted to go without being able to, drop that game to Wayne State. Bummer. Feels like if we played Northwood 2 or 3 more times, we probably win most of those games.
Yeah, it was a bummer, and you took the words right out of my mouth that this is a team that has a top 10 win, could have had two basically, and to drop a game like that though, it doesn't help you. Um, there's still a lot of basketball to be played. Certainly a lot to go on in the GLIAC right now. Uh, so still lots of opportunities for this Wayne State women's team coming out of the Thanksgiving break. Going on to the men's basketball team, they also played Northwood earlier in the week, over the weekend on Saturday, November 22nd, at home, and Wayne State was able to win this one 79 to 73. Uh, Carlos Paul III, Jordan Briggs, and Kelvin Tomakloe went off for 20 points, 18 points, and 10 points, respectively. Uh, Beyond the arc, kind of a pattern with both teams now, and to also be expected, I think, with this men's basketball team that they were shooting about 19%, and also a little bit concerning that no 3 pointers were made in the second half at all. Uh, You don't want to be having that in clutch time, especially when a game could be a little bit closer. The flip side of that is defensively, you held Northwood to 18%. So it worked out in Wayne State's favor that they were able to play defense. Might not be the situation in every single game they have, but it worked out for Wayne State here. In the paint, though, Wayne State handled their business, able to score a lot there. Also at the free throw line, 14 for 15, darn near 100%, and also only 8 turnovers. Think you say it all the time that good things happen when you maintain possession.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That 3 point is going to probably be a pretty big factor for this team. I mean, if we're not going to be a 3 point shooting team, which who knows? I mean, just looking at the stats here, we didn't shoot the three as much as Northwood did. So I mean, fine and dandy, but as little as we are going to shoot the three, or as much as we're going to shoot the three, you'd still like to see a pretty decent percentage. Otherwise, like get to the rim, try to draw a foul. I mean, it's
Right.
very clear that we are a big, bruised, like kind of yeah, we're that kind of team, is what it seems like we're kind of pushing for. So yeah, I mean, and that to me leads to my player to watch is Jotham Nowacki. I mean, this is, I can't remember. I think Colin Golson is probably the last player I remember seeing for this Wayne State team that I was as excited about. I think Jotham is really a special player, and I think we have somebody who can do a lot of things for this team. I think he can be he can take the ball down the court. You know, he can kind of be your point, whether or not that's like his intended position or what Coach Smothers and the staff are trying to do. He can definitely, you know, he'll pull up the 3 pointer every so often. He can drive, he can rebound, he can do everything. And like he's like your I don't know, your Andy Dirks. I'm trying to think of like who was the baseball player for the Tigers back in the day that played like
Don Kelly.
every position. Don Kelly. He's your Don Kelly. I mean, much more physical than Don Kelly, but regardless, he's that guy that you can rely on for everything. And honestly, there's a point in this game where like Kelvin Tomakolo comes out. I think Jotham Nowacki slides over to the five. And if it's not him, it's Carlos Paul III. Like either way, they have the size to be able to do that. So that's why I say like he's probably like I said, I cannot remember a player other than Colin Golson that I've been more excited about for this team. Because even Rob Lee Jr., after seeing him for a while, it was very exciting. You know, and obviously he's down at Lamar right now, but yeah, definitely my player to watch so far. I think he's going to be, as you said, for the women's basketball team, but in this case, the X factor for this men's basketball team.
Yeah, 100%. And being able to come in off, he came out of Macomb.
Hmm.
Right. Yep. So being able to come off the bench right out of essentially junior college, play significant minutes for Wayne State here. Awesome stuff to see from him. Last Tuesday or yesterday, Tuesday, Wayne State was at Finley, and this one was a barn burner. Unfortunately, Finley won this one 95 to 81. Theme of this game is that Wayne State played a great game. Finley played an outstanding game. Jordan Briggs, Carlos Paul III, and Jacoby Boos, name we haven't talked about in a bit, was a freshman last year coming in off the bench now. They all led the way with 20 points, 18 points, and 18 points respectively. Finley just lit up the scoreboard here. They shot over 50% from 3 pointers, and Wayne State shot 39%. In any other game, that would be an excellent 3 point shooting percent for Wayne State, but Finley just shot lights out here. And that's kind of
Yeah,
what they've done all season, it seems like.
yeah, they light up the scoreboard. Yeah, you get over 35% for Wayne State basketball, unless we're shooting 50, yeah, and even then, like I'm still feeling pretty good about that. But like
Yeah.
you get over that 35% mark, like you're over a point per possession. Like every shot that goes up, that's a very, very good number to have. Because just looking at field goal, 44.4%, even that's pretty decent. From
Yeah.
the line, we got to the line more than the Finley did in this one, 18 for 21. We left 3 points at the line. That doesn't make a difference in this one. It's just when you're Finley and you're able to shoot the three like they are, knock them down, and multiple times this year they've gotten into triple digits. It's kind of hard to beat that unless you're going to match that. And again, it does not seem like Wayne State's game is to get into a scoring match and to start firing threes. I just don't think our lineup is set up to do that.
No, but it is at least positive that you could see that they are capable of it. Certainly in most games when you could say you put up 81 points, it's a solid way to say you're going to win a lot of games. Just ran into a juggernaut, an offensive juggernaut at least with Finley.
Yeah, certainly seems like that. So, split from both of these teams over this last week. We're early on. We're not quite into conference play yet, but
I did have one note from Finley, and it wasn't on the sheet I have got on my phone though. Their leading scorer on the day had 20 points. I think coming off the bench. His name is Steel Meister. I really
quite
hope
the
that
name.
he's like an engineering student or a business student that wants to work like on Zug Island or something. Because that's got to be uh,
Yeah,
all
that's
name list for basketball players in college right now.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. 18 minutes off the bench. A lot. I mean, that another bump and bruiser. Just get to the basket,
Yeah.
6 for 9, got to the line 8 times, more than anybody else, and did not lead in minutes. So, but yeah, I do remember you texting me about that one. Really, really outstanding name there.
Yes.
All right, Sangster. It's time. It's time to talk about Tim Koth and the Wayne State volleyball team. And before we talk about this team, listen, we had nothing to do with anything. This is all them this season. But we've been talking about the fact that this is a special team. They've been doing outstanding stuff all season. We've seen it. We've reported on it. We've talked about it. We've seen a lot of stuff online from, Wayne State Athletics posted about all these. They are a fantastic team. And they did something for the first time in Wayne State volleyball history. Um, and we'll get to that. But over this last week, they were part of the GLIAC tournament. Now they came in as the 2 seed. They tied, so they got regular season co-champion with Fair State. So
Wait,
it's the first time that the Wayne State volleyball team has ever been GLIAC regular season champions, regardless of split
then
or outright.
no, first time since 81.
Since 81. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
So, sorry. It was a long time
A
ago,
long, long time.
13 years. So, good stuff from that perspective. But let's talk about it. So last Wednesday, as I kind of alluded to, we actually got to be in attendance for this one. And they took on Michigan Tech. And Wayne State wins this one 3-0. They win 25-21 in the first set, 26-24 in the second, and 25-19 in the third. And before I get into some of the stats here, yeah, that second set, Sangster, as I mentioned, 26-24. This was 24-0 Michigan Tech lead, and Wayne State had to go on a run. And I don't remember exactly what I said. You probably remember
You,
better than I do.
you told me, man, they're gonna need a run right here. And
Yeah.
sure enough, they got a run right here.
Like right on time. And there was a crazy, like bringing the ball back from out of bounds volley, getting an ace in there, I think, after a timeout by Michigan Tech. All of the things just worked out for this team in that second set, and then came out in the third set. We're able to win 25-19. Couple of other stats in this one: 7 aces for Wayne State in this one, paired with 11 blocks. Really, really, really good numbers there. And no, actually, there is a new name in this one, but Kayla Giroux, 391 attack percentage, again, 39.1% for her. Kylie Weck with a 500 attack percentage, and Leah Baldwin with 529. Those are some really, really good, and they're not small attack numbers that they had. Like they were attacking the ball pretty often. So really good stuff from them. And again, good enough. It was the first time that I got to see this team in person this season, and I was so happy to be
Likewise.
able to get there. And yeah, talk about it, Sangster. Like I know you hadn't been to a
Yeah,
whole lot of volleyball matches, but like, what was it like being in attendance for this one and seeing something like that second set where this team just got it together all of a sudden?
yeah, it's been a long time since I think we've seen an athletic contest like that inside of the Math Eye. We love the field house. It's incredible. It's definitely not an intimate venue for Wayne State compared to the Math Eye. Like you're right on top of everything. Full stands. We got pretty sure it was the baseball team and a bunch of students in one section. They're going off. It's loud. It is everything you want it to be in the Math Eye now as a dedicated volleyball facility. So really great stuff from Wayne State here. And I feel like after that second set that Wayne State was able to dig back out of and win, you could just kind of tell that Michigan Tech was done after that. They're like, and you don't blame them. How do you come back from that? That would take an extreme comeback from Michigan Tech. So, you know, props to them for coming down. There are a few Michigan Tech fans there as well, but outstanding work from Wayne State to get that first win in the GLIAC tournament and move on to Saturday. Unfortunately, not at the Mathi because Purdue Northwest couldn't hang on to win against Ferris.
Yeah, we were following along with those stats, and so were some of the people at the scoreboards table. As on our way out, we got to talk to a couple of folks there, and they were following along as well. It looked like Purdue Northwest was going to be able to hang in and make it to the fifth set. Didn't end up happening. So Ferris State ends up winning, and they host Saturday and Sunday. More on Ferris in just a minute here, but Wayne State got to take on Wisconsin Parkside on Saturday. And that's because Wisconsin Parkside was the only upset in round one of the GLIAC tournament, taking down number three seed, Northern Michigan. And so Wayne State goes on and wins this one 3-1, 25-16 in the first set, 25-13 in the second set. A little bit of a hiccup in the third set there by losing 25-15. And Wayne State closes out in extra points. Very exciting extra points, by the way, 30-28 to avoid getting into an all intense, scary fifth set in this one. Really, really good to see that they were able to close this one out and not make it too sweaty. But we talked about it, we played Parkside earlier, and as I just mentioned, Parkside was the lone upset in round one. We knew that they were going to come in. We knew that they were going to be tough. All of that, like there was no reason for them to come in and or for us to think that we were just going to steamroll Parkside. So they put up a really good fight in this one, Sangster.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough battle. Looking at some stats here, Kayla Drew had a 536 attack percentage, even 400 for Katarina Stout. As a team, Wayne State had 5 aces, just 14 errors, and they held Parkside and Parkside had 9 aces and 8 errors. They played a little bit cleaner than Wayne State did, but aside from those two stats, Wayne State played everything else much cleaner than Parkside did.
Yeah, just really, really good to see in this one. I mean, that's exactly what they needed to do. Go out, play your game, and yeah, if Parkside shows up and wants to go toe to toe, they kind of did.
Yep.
Uh, we still have it in us to be able to beat them, and that's exactly what we did, and that's what they had to prove. So all of it leads up to the final match. So
One versus
before we
two.
kind of talk,
Yeah.
yeah, one versus two,
But
exactly what we wanted. We get to take on Ferris, but it was either going to be Ferris and Grand Valley. And there's two sides to this one. I was like, I really don't want to play Grand Valley again. We've beaten them twice. You talk to a lot of analysts, people to cover sports. It's hard to beat a team three times.
right.
You've beaten them twice. To go 2-1, you feel good about, but to be able to do 3-0. And then there's the flip side of that, which means, okay, well, Ferris is going to take us on. They've beaten us twice. Can they beat us a third time? Well, it's on their court, and that's not where I would really want it to be. But we get to take on Ferris State. And what are the stakes in this one? The first time GLIAC tournament championship for Wayne State is on the line. It's not the first for Ferris State. They've been there before, but it was the first time for Wayne State.
And Wayne State definitely rose to the occasion here. Ferris also coming in as a beatable team. They showed after Wayne State unfortunately got swept by them in the regular season that hey, there are some flaws to this Ferris State team. Wayne State was able to take advantage and end up winning this one 3-1. Uh, First set to Ferris State 27-29. Extra sets or extra
Points.
points. Yeah. And then Wayne State just steamrolled them 25-18, 25-12, 25-19. You didn't let Ferris State get past 20 in the remaining of the 4 sets. It was an unreal performance by Wayne State to take down, not just the statistically the best team in the conference. Technically, they got the number one spot. Probably one of the best teams in the region on their home court. Uh, Big player here again. Kayla Giroux, another outstanding performance. Leah Baldwin and Katarina Stout definitely get a round of applause though. 458 and 438 attack percentage respectively. Uh, Nothing crazy for Wayne State serving. Ferris, you only held them to 2 aces and they had 11 service errors. Excellent work from Wayne State. And I don't know what happened with Ferris State. Maybe I'm not going to take anything away from Wayne State, but just the way that this match played out versus the way that the first two had gone, it turned it on its head basically. So add it all up, Wayne State now has their first ever GLIAC tournament championship.
Yeah, and I mean that's just outstanding to see. I mean, you hold a team to two aces, you're on your toes when
Yeah,
it comes to the serves. And 11 errors. I mean, I know a number of those hit the net and don't come over the net, but some of them do, and some of them land out of bounds.
right.
So you just really, really sharp on the eyes, whatever it is. Like you're just letting Ferris State just give you points. And that's fantastic. So I
And I
mean,
think
really, really good stuff there.
looking at the video, I think one of those service errors is what gave Wayne State the win.
I think you're right. I
Yeah,
think you're right.
we'll take 3 points.
No, we absolutely will. And if Ryan and Sangster from the Warrior House podcast are not enough to tell you how special this team is, allow the GLIAC themselves to tell you how special this team is. Because we swept so many individual awards in this one. Tim Koth, GLIAC Coach of the Year. Kayla Giroux, Offensive Player of the Year and GLIAC Player of the Year. Kayla Dahlger gets Setter of the Year. Katarina Stout gets Freshman of the Year. Kayla Giroux and Kayla Dahlger both get First Team All GLIAC. Leah Baldwin gets Second Team All GLIAC. Katarina Stout gets an honorable mention in this one. Um, yeah, our name was plastered all over the awards. And if you wanted the most important awards, regular season champs and tournament champs. Yeah, very, very special team.
Yeah, and we'll definitely talk about what that gave Wayne State volleyball in terms of an NCAA tournament uh, result going into the second half. I do want to highlight some fun facts. Wayne State Athletics had a fun fact that I didn't know, that Wayne State has never won a tournament championship before. I don't think they've even played in one before. Uh, but here's a fun fact for you. This is Tim Koth's second GLIAC Coach of the Year award, but it is his first with Wayne State. I don't think I ever really looked to look up Tim Kotz's history before coming to Wayne State. I know he came when we were students there, uh, but he actually came out of Northwood, and it was his last or second to last year that he was at Northwood that he got GLIAC Coach of the Year there. He coached several years at Northwood, got to a few different NCAA tournaments actually, and before that he coached at Quincy, and then before that, I think he went to like Cal State, one of the Cal State schools. Uh, but he also coached high school volleyball at St. Anne's and Warren. And fun fact here is that's where I went to K through 8 way, way, way after he was coaching there. The high school wasn't even open anymore when I went there, and where my family still goes for church. But that was a fun fact to see. That be interesting, maybe on the sidelines or something to talk to him about what that was like. But real outstanding stuff from this entire Wayne State volleyball team. Probably what Wayne State was expecting when he was brought in, but for whatever reason, it's finally coming to fruition now. Wayne State is probably having their best season that they've ever had in volleyball, maybe since the 80s. I'd have to look into what those 1980s teams did that they when they won the GLIAC before, but an outstanding year for Wayne State volleyball. Definitely the team of the fall for Wayne State.
Yeah, we got a lot more to talk about them too, because their season is not
Not
over.
done.
We hope it's got a lot more to go. So we're going to talk about that here in the second half. We're definitely foreshadowing a little bit because they got a little time off before they get to head on out. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and we got basically the same sports to talk about coming up with the addition of another sport to talk about. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can allude to swimming and dive.
See if there's anything else on the calendar. You really want me to get this shirt. Actually, that's Friday. We don't need it. We're good. Save that for next week. All right, YouTube. Next week, indoor track and field starts up
Hmm.
at, you guessed it, Saginaw Valley because they have a facility.
Oh, that's the Holiday Open. Nice. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, we got some basketball coming. That's after next episode, it's just going to be basketball. So
Woo.
maybe one of those things we just highlight and take a break over
Yep.
Christmas time. Say, here's what's coming up because they're playing at Toledo. God, I wish I could make it for that also. Ugh.
Excuse
At Toledo,
who who?
women's basketball on the 17th.
Oh, nice. I did not know that.
Little D1 action.
It's a little late for that, but we'll take it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Are you good?
Yep.
Let me make sure I got these records right really quick. Sorry. Women are 3-3. Yeah, see, this is why we checked that.
Yep.
Can't be fact checking out here. And the men are 2-2. Okay, cool. And let's make sure I got volleyball right. And then we can roll. 24-5, 13-3. Let's do it. And we're back. Starting out, kind of similar how we started out. We're going to start out with basketball here. The Wayne State men's basketball team currently sitting at 2-2 overall, 0-0 in conference play, and that is about to change thanks to Glee action time. We got Wayne State heading to Purdue Northwest, and Purdue Northwest currently sitting at an overall record of 1-3, and they are also getting ready to play their first conference match. So no record there, 0-0. Friendly reminder: if you continue to go to the Purdue Northwest website on the men's basketball and women's basketball schedule, they say in capital letters in bold red text, "Don't you dare think about bringing cash, you absolute bum." We don't accept cash, so stop bringing it. It's a near quote, not exactly what they say, but just hilarious that they have such a strong stance against it. But whatever, don't bring cash if you're going. So some
You know,
quick stats here. Yeah,
at least they do warn you before you go. Like if you're looking on the website, but don't decide to buy tickets for some reason. Wayne State does not do that. We do not have
uh,
big green or gold letters saying "Don't bring cash."
that's a very fair point. So yeah, just throwing it out there. Anybody making it down there, don't bring cash. So the Wayne State men's basketball team is currently averaging 81.3 points per game, and they give up on average 77.5. Conversely, Purdue Northwest averages 75.8 points, and they give up 80. Of course, what do these numbers mean at this point? Not a whole lot because you played everybody and anybody except the same teams that both of these teams played. So the numbers are just out there right now that Wayne State offensively and defensively has better numbers. So really good stuff there. And this is a big opportunity to get the brand new GLIAC season underway on the right foot. We got to make sure we can head on out there, especially because it's an away game. I mean, you get out there and you go 1-0 right off the bat. Fantastic way to start the season.
Yeah, and I don't think you could ask for any better GLIAC opponent. I think for Wayne State to start out with an established program now under Brian Smothers, but with a new look, a new way of playing basketball from the past couple seasons. The big bummer for this game is, and especially more when Purdue Northwest comes to Wayne State, is that there is no more Boomer. Boomer Roberts was let go by Purdue Northwest after last season. He is now at Belhaven University, which is in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm trying to see what they are a Division 3 school. So no more OK Boomer whenever he gets mad on the sidelines. So, but other
That
way,
is a
still a
bummer.
big opportunity for Wayne State here against the Purdue Northwest team that's in all likelihood trying to find its footing under a new administration.
Yeah, and I haven't really looked too much into what their lineup kind of looks like. Are they a big roster? Are they a three-point shooting team? I it seems like they're pretty loaded up on guards. So I mean, they're probably going to be a little bit more of a find the open shot, try to make an open shot and shoot over the team. And it's one of those, like, if you can do that, much like 2008, 2009 Michigan basketball team, you get them hot and good luck. But when
Yep.
they're not on a day, they could lose to the local high school team. Probably
Yeah.
not, but like it definitely makes teams like that a little bit scary. And then sliding over, Wayne State women's basketball team, Saints are 3-3 overall, 0-0 so far, and they're also getting underway in GLIAC play.
Yeah, on Tuesday they'll be facing Purdue Northwest as well. Purdue Northwest women's basketball is kind of looking like their men's side. 1-5 right now. Still haven't started any conference games. Wayne State averages about 72.8 points per game, giving up about 69.6. Purdue Northwest averages scoring about 63 and a half and giving up about 76.3. All the stats right now show that Wayne State should beat Purdue Northwest. Wayne State, on their part, their numbers aren't fantastic. They're not bad. They're pretty good. But our team has also played a very tough schedule. Number three team, number six team. You got to win out of there. Coming in 500, it's a spot that is a good start to the season. Is there room for improvement? Sure. But it is what it is. And just like the men's side right now, probably couldn't ask for a better GLIAC opponent to start the foundation, to start uh, conference playoff with a good foundation.
Yeah, so this is one of those weird ones. We generally don't have Tuesday games, but because, at
Thanks,
this point, I
Roosevelt.
think, yeah, exactly. I was going to say we got an offset number of teams now. So we got this funky random match or random game in the middle of early part of the week. So by the time we talk next, we're going to be talking about, of course, the recap of this one. I would say we'll get a little bit closer to our regularly scheduled programming. Not quite the case. Once we get into January, I think is when we're going to start to see a little bit more of a regular Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, however the actual scheduling is going to work out. So this is the only thing that we got coming up for these basketball teams this week. So that makes it all that much more important. This is all you got. This is what you're preparing for. And it's the most important type of game, which is a conference game for both of them. So really good opportunity here. And yeah, you're exactly right on this Wayne State on the stats for the women's basketball team. I mean, I'm sure there are teams out there that have had a tougher schedule, but this is a very tough schedule they've had so far. So to be able to show that you're still on average outscoring the opponents you faced up against is pretty impressive.
I thought I saw this when I was scrolling Twitter earlier, and I just confirmed it. Speaking of Roosevelt, out of nowhere, their women's basketball team just beat Western Michigan today
Yep.
or yesterday.
Yep.
That's insane. And it was it was big too. It was 82-70. That is
Yeah.
nuts. Western Michigan is
Their
basketball on both men's and
basketball,
women's side, not great right now.
they're having a real tough time with some D2 teams.
Yeah.
So, not all MAC schools are better than our D2 GLIAC teams or GMAC for what it's worth. Throw them in there as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
So really quick one here, thanks for swimming and dive. Again, the scheduling is a little bit funky on this one. On December 3rd through 6th, they're going to be heading up to Rochester, Michigan for the Golden Grizzly Invite hosted by Oakland University. There are going to be a couple of other teams there, I do believe, from what I've seen. So this is one of those, just kind of throwing it out there, letting everybody know it's going to happen. But next time that we talk on the next episode of the Warrior House podcast, one of the days will probably be done. So we'll be able to kind of recap a little bit what's going on and have an idea of what's coming up for that one. Not a lot there, but just wanted to mention that Swim and Dive is also getting underway.
For sure. And finally, team of the fall, team of going into winter, but not quite winter yet, because that technically is December 21st this year. Wayne State Volleyball ends the regular season and GLIAC tournament play 24-5, 13-3 in conference play. They are the regular season champions, along with Fair State, and the GLIAC tournament champions for the first time in school history. So that gets them a road trip to the NCAA tournament, with starting with the regional round in St. Louis, hosted by Missouri St. Louis as the number one seed in the Midwest region. Uh, Wayne State ends up getting the fourth seed. So luckily that doesn't get us with a team that we've seen before or thankfully, not against Missouri St. Louis themselves because they are really good. Uh, Wayne State will be playing December 4th, taking on Finley, a team that we actually haven't seen uh, in a couple of years, despite playing in that crossover match and with them being in the region. Uh, Finley comes in with a record of 23-5 and 13-2 on the year. Very similar team to Wayne State. They lost to Ohio Dominican in the GMAC semifinal. Ohio Dominican went on to win it all in the finals. So a strong GMAC team, certainly, but I think that Wayne State's better, and it's time to show them.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I will say I was watching the selection show for this one because I was very intrigued. I know you sent me a couple of things thanks to some bracketology stuff where
Mhm.
Wayne State was picked as the 5 seed, and I was hoping so bad that we would get the 3 seed for a number of reasons. One, we deserve it. I mean, we definitely deserve to be a high up seed. We won the GLIAC.
Yep.
But also, I wanted to be away from Missouri St. Louis, not to necessarily skirt them, but like when we get to the number 1 seed, I want that to mean like that's to get onto nationals at that point, the final 3 rounds there. And as they were going through it, and I saw that we were announced as the 4 seed, I was like, don't you dare pin us against Ferris State. Like we just played them. Please let me just see any other team.
Yep.
And sure enough, Finley ends up as the 5 seed and Ferris State gets the three seed. So I was salty about that too. But at least we get to kind of face a new team here. We get to prepare a little bit. We don't have, whatever happened throughout the rest of the beginning part of this season and, in the back of our minds, get to take on that new one. And I'm with you. I think this Wayne State volleyball team is, uh, I think we can take on Finley. I think we can beat Finley. I think that there's a reasons the seeding shook out the way that it did. And we're just gonna have to see what happens here.
Yeah. Shout out Inkblot Sports. If you are interested in any kind of bracketology for just about every single D2 school there is, it's well worth it. Follow them on Twitter if you want a little bit of early access with a little bit more deep dive analysis. Uh, Subscribe to their Patreon. I think it's like $3 a month. Uh, well worth it for information you're not going to get really anywhere else about D2 bracketology. Joel and Artie is out here doing brackets for Division Two volleyball. So again, shout out Inkblot Sports. Really helpful information here going into Wayne State's appearance at the NCAA volleyball tournament.
Yeah, and for anybody who's looking to make it out there, or if you're going to be like us and you want to stream it, this is an 8 p.m. game. So this is the last one actually of the Midwest Regional, and Missouri St. Louis plays just before us at 5:30 p.m. The other games, of course, happen earlier on in the day. Don't exactly know how that timing works out. It's very funky that Missouri
7 o'clock
St. Louis.
Central if you're going down there.
Yeah, I don't know why Missouri St. Louis wouldn't get the early game, but it's
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 it's probably
really
whatever they
weird.
want. They probably get
Yeah.
first dibs, you would think.
I guess that's fair. So they get the best option to get like, the late afternoon, early evening fans to be able to show up to that one. So
Yep.
um yeah, of course, go Wayne State, take down Finley. Let's move on. Let's
Yep.
next time we're talking though, we'll be probably we'll be able to recap that match or we'll yeah, that's gonna be on Thursday. That timing is gonna be a little bit weird. So next time we talk, we'll definitely be getting some stuff out before the future rounds go on for that one. So we'll be covering this one very, very closely as this tournament proceeds. But with that, yeah, that's all we got, Sangster. Very exciting week. Next week coming up for this Wayne State athletics program. Them basketball teams, 2 big matches, 2 big games, not matches, to be able to get on a really good way for this GLIAC tournament or for GLIAC season.
Yep, and best of luck to our Wayne State volleyball team when they go down to Missouri St. Louis, and also our swim and dive team uh, just up the road at Oakland University. Want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everybody has an enjoyable time. Everybody travels safe over the holiday weekend, and we will catch y'all next week.
Of course, with that, thank you all for joining us on episode 113 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.